Hello people and welcome to the Scav Experience. I want to get this started, first things first, and say that everything, all the videos that you see that I'm using references from, beginning of the video with the edit, that, and the music that I use in the intro and the background music that you hear right now will be in the description below. The game, of course, is the Forver Winter, and this is just my review and my personal takes on this. I hope you guys enjoy it, and again, this is my opinions on what I think should be done, but I don't know, other than that, when you hear...
And we really want to get that game out to you sooner. That's why we're diving right into early access.
You get a little scared understanding the state of the gaming industry right now. You know that there's a few meanings that can come from the word early access. It could be that the dev team is pretty much almost done with the game, and instead of waiting for the release date, they just want to release it out to be nice and generous to the fans. And there are also those companies that instead of releasing a polished game or releasing a almost finished game in early access, they release a very broken game and use early access as an excuse to say why it's broken, and then they will continue to sell stuff in that game. I shouldn't be ranting about that, but early access can be used as a very scummy method to squeeze money out of people. And then there are those small dev teams that understand that early access can be used as a method for finding bugs faster, because using the community, thousands of people, for free is definitely a lot faster than having to delegate your team away from doing certain coding to bug hunting. Usually they actually outsource that, I think, to third-party companies. With a lot of big companies that like before releasing the games, they usually will third-party. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. Now this team is taking this game very seriously. As the time of me working on this video, they've already come out with 2 hot fixes, and now I believe they're working on a third one too. As you're watching this, obviously the hot patch came out as I'm making this video, so that's fucking great. And YouTube decided to ban my channel that I was going to post this on, so yeah, I got pushed back heavily, which great. But yeah, so some of this stuff might be outdated. Hopefully some of the talking points I do bring up later in this video isn't, and it does get worked on. But yeah, fucking why, bro? Just fucking god damn, man, it's fucking bullshit. And this can be a good thing, and this can also be a bad thing. If you understand the goal of this early access is to help the devs find bugs, and seeing your input and other people's input actually get implemented in the game feels kind of good when you feel like you're actually a part of making that game good. And then on the other hand, early access is kind of the boogeyman for a lot of people, if not, I don't know, a lot of people, but some people will definitely hear the word early access and instantly get deterred away. And then when they see hotfix after hotfix after hotfix, that can also deter them away even more. And either way, it's a lose-lose scenario. Well, not a lose-lose, but a win-lose scenario, more like. That's just kind of how things in this industry and other industries work. Nobody's ever happy, and that's okay. Now, I don't have high expectations, and I don't normally get hyped for games, because I know if I raise them up and I overhype the game, I will get disappointed and let down. And this seems to be a cycle that everybody repeats in this industry, and not just the developers, not just the promoters, but the fans themselves overhype the game into failure. And that's a big thing that we need to work on as the fans, is to stop overhyping games and to reality check our expectations. And I came into this early access knowing that there will be bugs, and with the intention to find those bugs and try to help the devs make this game better, because I fucking love this game. I love the aesthetic, I love the environment, I love the world. I want to know more about the world, I want to learn the lore. I wish there were fucking books. Like, I'm a big Warhammer fan, and when I saw an everlasting fucking war in this grim landscape, I was instantly hooked. So I want this game to succeed. That's why I'm making this video, is because I'm finding stuff, and I will continue to find stuff and make more videos because I love this game and I want it to do better. I want it to succeed. I understand this team is small. It's around 30 developers, and I'm assuming not everyone is there. Like I said, usually they split them up, say around, like I said at the start, 30 people. 8 to 10 of those people are working in management, doing public receptions, marketing, handling the power, like doing the bills and shit like that, because it's not the person sitting there coding that's doing all that. You gotta delegate your tasks to people. There will be small teams of people working on the code of the game itself. There are people doing the modeling of the game. There are people to make the maps. So I understand that things are going to take time, and the fact that they have actually come out with 2 hotfixes pretty quick, and they're working on a 3rd one right now, gives me hope that they are working on it and allowing us as the community to do the job of the bug hunter for them and allow them to just continue to work on the game will allow for better progress in the future, I believe. And I feel like instead of taking 2 fucking years, the game can be done in a few months. I think the game itself could be probably finished by the end of the year. That's how much faith I have in the devs, and I might be eating my words in the future, because who knows. It's just how this industry works. Like, look at Helldivers. People were saying it's the greatest game ever, and I enjoyed the game. It was pretty cool, and then I haven't touched it since the Sony incident. And I really hope something like that doesn't happen here, and I don't think it will. There are 2 important things when it comes to keeping your player base: immersion and gameplay mechanics, or the gameplay loop. And right now I'm going to tackle immersion, because immersion is the world. It's what gets your player base, or the potential player base, interested in it. It's not just the, oh hey, you want to play an extraction shooter where you run into this place and shoot people and loot their stuff and run out. Yeah, everybody gets that gameplay mechanic. They all know what it is. It already exists. It's nothing new. That's not what's going to grab them. It's going to be the world. It's going to be the environment. It's going to be the fucking immersion mechanics of the game. That's what's going to really pull people in. And one of those important factors of immersion is character movement, because that's what goes into making you feel like you are actually in the world. And the sprinting mechanic doesn't feel right. You're turning with your mouse, which, you know, of course it makes sense, it's normal, but you can't use A and D. You can only use W key. So that leaves 2 situations where you can't just make a smooth turn. You have to stop turning, or stop sprinting, and then turn, and then go back to sprinting again, or drag your mouse across the whole fucking desk to make a simple turn, because it's cutting your sensitivity down by a certain percentage. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel right. It kind of feels stiff in some spots, just mainly when you're trying to make those quick turns. And like, of course, you make somewhat of a loop, but you want to make those really tight turns where kind of like, imagine if you're running in real life and you lean, like you're running and you lean into that turn to get that turn tighter. And you can't do this in this game. I mean, there's other games that can do that. Like, I think there's probably some older games that have people using WASD, all 4 of the keys, all 4 directions, not just W when they're sprinting. And then I think the final thing I want to touch on with movement is jumping, and it makes no sense. Okay, you're carrying roughly 20 to 80 pounds, or like 13 to 28 kilograms. I don't know the conversion rate, but you got a lot of shit on your back, and you kind of almost glide, like you gallop like a horse taking a long ass leap, and the jump animation itself is kind of janked in my opinion. It's not very human like. It's kind of like a pogo stick that just boing, and it breaks immersion for me. Another thing that breaks immersion with me that kind of involves jumping is also the mantling feature. It kind of works half the time, or I think it's not the mantling feature itself, or I think it's more the object that you're trying to do it to is not well cooked yet. I think that's what the dev was saying. It's pretty cooked in a good way, like as it's being coated, cooking in an oven. Anyway, yeah, there are some spots where you can mantle, or you'll be stuck jumping, or at the same time you can jump. You can mantle up onto it, but you can't move at all. You can't climb up, but that object you can be on top of. And then there are like other spots that just you get stuck, like literally you cannot move. You have to like try to jump out of it, and that can get you killed. So I believe they have worked on some of it. There was one spot in Elephant Mausoleum that was like you try to mantle up, you just jump. They changed that, but at the same time there was also some spots that just seem to be still needing to work on. And other than that, the game has done a really good job with the environment. The environment and the sound design is well done.
Life finds a way, even here.
Seeing like a lot of very just giant mechs. I call them titans because I don't know their fucking names. I just learned that the zombies are called cyborgs. This game needs a bestiary. I'll talk on that in a little bit later. But yes, the sound design is pretty well done. I mean, granted, I feel like some of the guns could do a little bit more of a variety. Their sound design, maybe sound like they're cracking more, because they are technically breaking the sound barrier, but I don't know. That's just a personal gripe, and no, the environment is just very well done. I like everything about it. I don't really think any of that needs to be changed at all. Whoever did that, other than just fixing some of the hitboxes for the assets that you have laying around the map, you've done a very good job, and continue to do a really good job on the future maps. I can't wait to see what comes next. While we're sort of still in the context of immersion, I think I'm going to tackle the gameplay mechanics first, because those also still have an effect on immersion. And one of those things I would like to talk about is the gunplay. Now, when you are standing behind a wall, or behind a wall, and you want to peek out and around it, you need to stick half your body out. There is no really hiding behind it, because your bullets are going to get caught up by whatever object you're hiding behind, the hitbox. It's kind of frustrating when you're wasting your ammo on something that your ammo shouldn't be wasted on. And that can also potentially get you killed. And I would also say another mechanic that we don't have, that we should have, that can play in immersion, is toggling the shoulder, switching shoulders, being able to go from the right shoulder, which is what the camera's behind the whole time, and when you're kind of some spots when you're stuck, like in mech trenches, or not mech trenches, but Elephant Mausoleum, you're in the trenches, literally, and so you're kind of sneaking around, and it's kind of hard to sneak around when your character, you can only see this side event and the entrance. You got enemies coming down one side, and you can't fucking see them, and you can't really do anything unless you stick your whole entire body out. And that situation wouldn't exist if you could toggle your shoulders. And another thing involving with the shoulders, when you're aiming down the sights over the shoulder, allow us to lean when we're doing that too, because I don't get why we can only lean in first person. You're still aiming down, you're still pressing right key, and you can still fucking code it in to press Q and E, but I don't know, that's a little frustrating. The AI, now the AI is kind of retarded. I don't think there's any other best way to describe it is other than they're just kind of retarded. They don't make sense. They are like, I'm not using the word retarded as a derogatory term. I'm literally using it as the word, they are fucking slow. They can stand in front of you and watch their buddy get shot and then still have the question mark, like they're searching for you. Their pathing gets interrupted a lot. I've noticed they like to circle back a lot, and that can put you in situations where the only option out is fighting.
Meant to be.
It could just be me not knowing that that's just their path routine that they're supposed to patrol, but it doesn't make sense when they're going from one spot back to the next spot, one back, you're going back and forth in the same location. And some enemies will walk right past you and ignore you, and then their buddies will light you up. It just doesn't make any sense. I know the devs are aware of this, but yeah, please take care of the AIs, because there are some really cool enemies in this game, and I wish I could know more about them. Now let's talk about the bestiary, because there are some enemies in this game that are fucking scary.
Hark the heralds of doom. All signs point to this. Now bring it home. Tier 1 units on the way. They don't look happy.
And I don't know what their fucking names are. I don't know what this dog thing is. I didn't know that the zombies were called cyborgs. Speaking of cyborgs, those things are bugged as shit. You can bounce on top of their head like Mario, and I don't know what goes on there, but it sometimes can trap you in, like, on top of their head, and you'll just be bum 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 bum, falling around. Same with the crawler variant of them. Those things are fucking cracked. I know. I think reason to replayed quickly here is I'm aiming down the stairs and this dude jumps a whole fucking story. He jumps a whole story and just right next to me. And it's just like, what? They're kind of cracked. And then in Scrapyard Nexus, there's an armored variant of this guy. Now, he's just as fast as the regular cyborgs who aren't armored, who are not heavily fucking armored, because these things are heavily fucking armored, and they do over 1,000 damage. They literally one-tap you. What the fuck? Guys, come on. Now, aggroing an enemy is kind of confusing. Like some items picking up, I know they changed how that works. It used to be before, like when you picked up weapon tech, it would summon hunter-killer drones. Well, not drones, but now that doesn't happen. But still, like picking up water can aggro enemies, and sometimes it can aggro the fucking titans. Like, what? Why is a little jug of water telling this giant mech who should be off fighting like tanks and shit that I am the main target? It's kind of confusing. But while we're still on the same topic as hunter killers, I had a lot to say about them, but after the recent patch, it's kind of nulls all of those talking points. They used to be very frustrating. They'd spawn in 5 minutes into the raid. Now they don't. I don't know when they spawn in. I've done raids where there's 10 minutes, and I haven't seen a single hunter come after me. I have seen them wander on the map in groups of 3, but other than that, no. They've really done a good job with the feedback for the hunters, and they're not as frustrating as they used to be, because they were really fucking annoying. Alright, so now that we have that done with, the one thing that still hasn't been touched on after the patch that I feel like needs to be worked on, because they're just a waste of money, is the companion AI that you can bring with you, the recruits. They're kind of weak. I know they did get touched on a bit, because I know like before patch they just run in and just start shooting at shit and get killed pretty quick. They still die pretty quick. The cultist is 37,000 credits and he's pretty fucking weak. And it's just like, if I'm spending that much money on something, it should be worth its weight. But like, I think the only recruit that you want to bring in, if you're even willing to risk it, if you have multiple people with you, is the loot mule. But other than that, I wouldn't even bother with those guys. I will touch on multiplayer in a bit and optimization after the bestiary segment, and let's get on to that one now. When I said bestiary, I mean it. I feel like you could implement so much lore and so much helpful information for us to use against those enemies in a bestiary. Deep Rock Galactic has one, and I know there's a few other games that have a bestiary, and I may be collecting intel off of those enemies, or just how many times you've killed them can update your bestiary a little bit, maybe fill in some lore snippets or different methods on how to kill them and their names, and just like using the art style, because come on, there is some beautiful fucking art that the artists have done, and it's not being shown in the game, and I feel it's a shame. And I think you could show off that beautiful art in a bestiary, and I really want to see that in the future. Let's go on to the gameplay loop, also known as water.
I hear people complaining about how, where, the water, it drains,
Well, I want to show you something. Alright, so this is the water clock. Right now I have 22 days. I haven't played for 2 days. It was at 24 when I left. And I have been editing this review the whole time, 22 hours. And you see the time counting down. Here's your stash. What's the water in the stash, right? There's 3 jugs. It stacks up. You can carry, I don't know if there's a limit to how much water barrels you can carry. I assume a pretty high cap, but you have plenty of time. You can transfer water in 25 minutes. It's not that I don't know why people are complaining that much. The water system right now for the game is fine. I don't have too much of an issue with it. I see a lot of people complaining about it a lot, constantly. Just doesn't make sense, like, because you can get water very easily, mainly from quests. Like, you can get up to 2 days of water, and you can also get like guns and XP from quest too. So there's plenty of emphasis to do the quest, and you can knock off 3 quests at a time if you do it well enough in some of the missions. So it just doesn't make any sense saying this is like this most FOMO method out there, and no, it's really not. I'd actually probably argue a battle pass is more FOMO than this, okay? And I've seen people saying that you should spend water when going out to do a raid. Like, that makes sense, but fuck you, okay? I have other things I need to manage, like fucking money and ammo and other shit like that. I don't also need to manage my fucking water. I like the idea of just having it sit in the background, and if I need to go for a few days, I can just stack up 10 gallons of water and be fine and not have to stress about it. And like, yes, when your water drains down, you do lose everything, like vendors wise, but you can get all of that back really fucking fast if you have your water stacked up. So if you're a nice, you got your water economy going, you'll never have to worry about that, about a soft wipe. Now, more on with the gameplay loop. It's a looter shooter. Not a lot of the loot on some of the enemies feel like it's worth it. I think you should have some variety to like what's on enemies. Like, maybe one faction has this certain type of loot that only shows up on them, and then the other faction had some other type of loot, and you could have maybe some quests that are like collect this type of this faction's loot, or like I don't know, maybe something like that would be kind of an interesting implement to just add more variety and depth to the world around you. Like, maybe the alcohol types are limited to like certain factions, they only carry certain alcohols, but I don't know, maybe I haven't killed enough vehicles to really know what kind of stuff they drop to say that they have any bad drops, so it's not too bad. But yeah, this part I do have a problem with. Looting the loot, okay? Allow us to like toggle maybe between the gun. I've also noticed that sometimes it says pick up destroyed weapon and you end up looting a backpack next to it instead. I've found a workaround to just aiming in, and you can, and looking at the gun, you can pick it up, but that needs to be fixed, please. So I can actually fucking loot. Like, maybe give us, like, again, like toggling shoulders, allow us to toggle between what loot we want to pick up. But I think other than that, that is like the only crap I have with that problem. Now on to the multiplayer. At the start, there was, I know like some people were complaining, a lot of people are still complaining about having all the 9,999 ping. Remember, this is a peer-to-peer game, so I'm assuming it's probably just looking for the nearest available port available for you to connect to, that's like also just having it open, because this is a peer-to-peer game. Or if that's even how it works, I could just be talking out of my ass. I know, because like, it just takes time to find anyone, so that could be why. But other than that, not too many issues. Now, definitely better than any other companies that we won't be naming or mentioning, but I feel like you could probably speed up this process. There definitely probably are workarounds, but also I am a little bit worried about if people maliciously. If there is a will, there is a way. So we want security with that. But other than that, I think they've done a fair job. Now the optimization, yeah, I don't know. I'm running an RTX 2070 Super, and that is very heavy on my PC already, but it's better than nothing. So this game is done really well. And I know this video has gone on for too long. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I had some topics to touch on. So thank you for making it this far, if you even did. If you are a dev and you watched this video and felt like any of my information that I put forward was insightful, I just be nice to see it get put use into the game, because that's just kind of all I want. So I'm making this video. And of course, as I'm making this video, they dropped the third patch, just as I feared. I was trying to get this video up before that happened, of course, but like, as of course this is just like my early impressions of the game. I will definitely be making a follow-up video on this in the future, so I can't wait to see what comes. Thank you and goodbye.